Alright guys, I'm hoping this is the last fabrication video that we're doing for the exhaust system on this car. I have everything pretty much done at this point. I had to go get gas this morning and I welded the V-band onto the downpipe. I still have to weld the 2-bolt flange and the support bracket for the downpipe. I got the external wastegate billet stubby, so I'm gonna go ahead and drill a hole out in this up pipe for it. I have to drill into my welds, which kind of sucks because they look so pretty and nice and whatnot. And they're all welded on the inside. Holy shit, that looks beautiful. Damn, you're a wizard, Harry. That's nice. So, once we get those done, we can get the exhaust system permanently put on the car and I can stop doing all this fabrication stuff, which I would like to take a break from because it's taken me entirely longer than I wanted it to. But you know what? It is what it is. This rotated kit cost me like 550 bucks in materials versus like an ETS kit without a turbo costing like 4,500-ish dollars. So, let me go get a hole drilled in this. Hopefully it's only one more trip at the shop. We'll get everything welded up. Okay, I've got the massive hole made for the external wastegate. I've got the tab tack welded onto the downpipe. I think at this point, this is the last round of welding that we should have to do. Fingers crossed. All I have to do is weld on that flange, weld on the tab, and then finish welding that 2-bolt to the downpipe, and everything's solid. So let's go weld these real quick. Let's go do the thing. All right, I got the downpipe here. I'm just gonna weld this little bracket onto here. I'm gonna clean up that weld because that's what I used my my little poop welder on. It looks like a blueberry. And then I'll weld this flange on. Once that's done, the downpipe is done. And then I'll jump over here to the up pipe, weld our little stubby guy up, get him welded onto the up pipe, and then I'm gonna be done welding for a while. Oh, I cannot wait. Let me knock these out. I could not weld the outside of this flange to save my life. I was able to get it like around some spots there, but I could not get heat to work with me on that. So instead, I welded the inside. So I welded the inside of the pipe to the flange. I found that to be a little bit easier because I wasn't trying to heat soak as much of this flange. And then I just went through here and I just surfaced it with a flap disc. So that way it was nice and flat again. So I'm gonna let this cool down. It doesn't look the prettiest, but it's on there. It's not gonna move. That's really all I care about on that guy. I got the tab on there. And then I also got the external wastegate fully welded up to our up pipe here. So we are good to go. Everything is back purged nicely, looking beautiful. So swing back to the house. Let's go test fit. I have to fix a bolt for that bracket because it pulled threads. Ooh, let's go back to the house, test fit all this stuff up. Sorry about that, it's the next morning. I got distracted helping Matt pull out the transmission out of his Outback, which automatic transmissions, heavy as all hell. That thing is stupid heavy. So, back to the WRX. Turbo kit, pretty much all done at this point. I have to aug out the O2 sensor housing, or the O2 bung a little bit just for the O2 sensor clear. I didn't drill the hole big enough, but I can get in there with a Dremel and a metal cutting bit to be able to clean it up. So let's get back on this workhorse here, because I don't say this often, as genuinely doesn't happen often, but I'm getting tired of working on the WRX. We've done so much to it that it's a completely different car now. It's got STI drivetrain, STI, literally everything, built motor, rotated kit, the whole kit caboodle. It's just taken so long that I've reached the point where I'm like, fuck dude, I just want this thing to be done. Just want it to be done at this point. So let me walk you through what we're about to knock out. Hopefully we can get this thing like 90% done today. So rotated kit's in. I'm gonna trim this coupler down a little bit, get the engine harness in, splice on our injector clips onto our wire harness, get the PCV system taken care of. I only have one more thing to fab up, and that's the dump tube. The external wastegate sits beautifully right down there now. It clears everything. Like I said, the dump tube's the last thing got to do on that. Our fuel pressure regulator bracket gets dropped off today, so let's start things off. I'm gonna knock out the last of the PCV system, which is gonna be the crossover 2 breather guys. Once those are done, we'll jump to like splicing on the new electrical connectors to the engine harness. Keep going on this guy. I just want it done at this point. So right now it's just kind of the tedious stuff. I got the alternator back in. I'm working on the wire harness, so I'm trying to like tuck the harness down so that way you don't see it too much. I'm also taking the time to go through and make sure that everything is solid. I did have to do a couple small repairs on the harness. I also wired in our iWire upgraded injector clips. You guys know I get like PTSD with injector clips at this point after what happened to Blue. So I'm going through, take my time, making sure that everything's solid. I've got the PCV connection kind of like done up here. I have it kind of undone at the moment. I need to order 2 5/8 90-degree fittings to be able to go onto the heads nicely. I'm just trying to make everything like look nice, tucked, and like put away. I want this engine bay to look as good as the car is going to be. So I'm taking my time with it. I've got the driver's side done. I'm starting to move over this way because I want to be able to get to this point and have as much spare wire harness as possible to be able to tuck our engine harness that's up here right next to the turbo as low as possible, so that way it's away from any heat. If I need to buy some heat wrap for the engine harness, I'll do so, but let me finish the last little bit of this engine harness. It's just such tedious stuff, man. So, woo! Let's finish the engine harness. Got to pull off the downpipe and turbo again, so that way I can get the engine harness fed back behind it, as well as get the other heater core line installed for the AOS. I've got the other one going down right there, clamps up, and then goes down to the water pump, so it'll come up from the water pump, bypass the throttle body and the crossover tube that went to the expansion tank up top, go up to the AOS, go out from the AOS, back into the cylinder head down there. I also have to clamp off or block off one heater core line down here that went to the throttle body, and then the other one on the radiator that used to go to the dealio up top. I've got the radiator situated to just flow right into the overflow there. So it's all the it's all the small tedious stuff right now that we're knocking out. So let's get the downpipe off, let's get the turbo off, and then run that engine harness and that coolant line. So I knocked out a ton more of the small stuff. I have the wire harness tucked up where it's going to go. Now, something that I've seen a lot is a lot of people will go like rush their builds and they don't take the time to think about what goes where, what's going to get hot, what's not going to get hot. So I just rerouted the engine harness, did the coolant line for the AOS that goes back to the cylinder head down here. I used some of this heat sheathing that I had just had laying around for the engine harness because the turbo is obviously going to be here. We don't want this to get hot and we don't want this to melt. So heat sheathing all of that is going to prevent a lot of mishaps in the future. I'll probably toss a little bit on this back harness down here too. I also did that for the coolant line that goes down to the back of the head. As you can see, it all wraps around. There's all heat sheathing on everything that's going to be around the stuff that gets hot. Now, UPS also just dropped off my race art doodad, which is right here for the turbo boost controller, baby. So we are using a 4-port boost controller. Josh likes to party, so whenever I bring the cars over to Josh, I now just put 4 ports on them because Josh always gives me shit. if I don't put 4 ports on them. So we're gonna find a home for this. I need to steal the electrical connector off of Blue at the shop for this thing, and then find a spot for this in the engine bay, because normally the old boost controller would be like somewhere over here. We'll just cut this wire, move it somewhere else, and relocate our boost controller. Like I said, at this point, it's just all the small stuff. All the big stuff's pretty much done. We have all of our fabbing and whatnot pretty much good to go. So I need to actually swing over to the shop. I need to go see if I have a banjo bolt that will work for the oil feed. If not, I'm gonna have to order one. When we get back, we can do the oil drain for the turbo to get that knocked out. So we're getting there. It's progress. It's all the little stuff, all the lines and everything like that. Like 10 out of 10 on these crimps, by the way. If you want some like solid crimps that won't leak, I've been using those on PCV connections, coolant lines, everything like that. I absolutely despise the stupid little clamps that IEG gives you with those, so I'm swapping them all out. So let me start that thing up, and let's go run over to the shop to go dig around for this banjo bolt filter, or banjo bolt doodad, and let me dig through my spare parts bin to see what else I have that we can use on this. So I am kidnapping the boost controller off of Blue. Blue will just get a brand new one, as well as the oil feed line for the turbo, just so that way I can get the WRX up and running. I just don't want to dig through my spare parts bin, which is way up there, to try to find another one of these banjo bolts. I know I have more, so I'm not worried about it. This controller, I'll buy another one for Blue. It's a little wire harness right there. The one that I have for the WRX right now pulled wires out, and I can't get the connector out, and I can't repin it, so I'll just steal this one for now. It's not a big deal. These are like 50 bucks, so it's whatevs. Like I said, I really just want to get the WRX done at this point. It's not that I don't want to work on the WRX. The WRX has been a work in progress for way longer than I wanted it to be. I just didn't anticipate the 6-speed swap, the fabrication, all of this like DIY stuff to take as long as it did. Because as soon as the WRX is done and it's tuned, we're doing like a little mini build on this 04 STI just to get it like up in to snuff, I guess I should say, for the time being. Retune it, new coilovers, fix the squeaky suspension, reboot all the axles, basic stuff just to keep it like daily driving and whatnot. Then we're jumping back on Blue, because Blue is the main one that I want to get running again. We're getting close, hopefully, to the motor coming back up from California, as well as redoing this harness. And because for the most part, all we have to do at this point is rebuild the downpipe, finish the wide body, swap the engine, and we should be good to go again. We already have the tune built out for the car, so it's not like we're putting the car back together again. It's not like we're doing this the first time, where we have to figure out how are we gonna start this thing, is it even gonna work? We know it all works. Redoing the little shit. So I just want to get the WRX done so I can get back to the car I want to be working on, which is obviously Blue. So now that I've got these couple of small things, let's go back to the house, get the boost controller fitted up. You know, just we'll just keep going. We'll just keep going on the little stuff. Hopefully get the turbo mounted permanently, oil return drain, oil feed line, all that good stuff. All right, we're back from the shop. UPS just dropped off my IAG bracket for the fuel pressure regulator. I've got the oil feed banjo bolt and the boost controller, so let's make the oil return drain, the oil feed, get the fuel lines done, get the boost controller mounted. After that, there's really only one thing that's stopping us from starting this car, and I'll show you guys that here in a little bit, because it's kind of a stupid thing to be waiting on. For some point in the future, I've wanted to throw myself off a bridge a couple times. We gotta hook up that oil drain to this and then put this on.
No, it's on the wrong way, Tanner. God. Don't get my fingies.
Where's your fingy? I didn't prep that part.
God damn it.
I don't even know where I put it. Bro, this legit just maxes out at 1 inch. All right, well, everything about that sucked, but the oil drain is done. That was a stupid endeavor. You can't even see it, man. I can't even get light down there. It's right there. Oil drain goes down, wraps behind the up pipe into the cylinder head. That sucked. Because there's just not a lot of room with rotated kits whenever it comes to making your own oil return lines like that. So last thing I gotta do, and then I'm probably gonna stop in this video, is make the oil feed line. So -4 AN fitting, it'll go from the back of the head to the top of the turbo right here. And then at that point, turbo doesn't have to come back out. Thank God. So let's get that last piece made up. Oh my God, it's almost done. Thank the Lord. Turbo does not have to come back out. I do have to tighten the V-band down that holds the turbo to the up pipe. That's about it. I did swap the coupler from a straight to a 45, just to kind of put the intake more down away from the engine. I think it looks a little bit better also. Charge piping, I just bought the ETS kit for the hot side. It'll just make life so much easier than trying to just make my own. So it's just the rotated hot side piping. It's close enough to the ETS kit where I feel like it should work no problem. We still have to figure out the cold side up here, but I'm not gonna even worry about that right now. Fuel system's almost done. I do need 2 more dash 6 straight AN, actually probably just one, just do a 45 off of the fuel pressure regulator and a straight onto the line. Oh my God, it's almost done. I can't wait. I actually can't wait to have this car back. The as much as I love driving around the 04 STI, which I think I'm gonna call you Casper since I found the Ouija board thing in there. I honestly missed driving this more, and with the new setup this car has, dude, it's an STI at this point. Like, if we're being honest, it's more than an STI. I don't know what you want to call it, but it's a WRX that's been converted. Now, the one thing that's really holding me up from being able to start this car, which actually just made life a lot easier, is, aside from like a couple small things here and there, the intake manifolds. So Process West intake manifolds, and the bottom of them have ports for the vacuum fitting. They used to be BPST. I flipped mine over, and mine is actually 6 ORB. So I need to go order 6 ORB to like 1/8 barb, 1/4-inch barb fittings, all these weird fittings to make it work for the vacuum system. And then aside from that, charge piping, put fluids in it, and turn her on. I cannot wait. I am so excited. Josh, Daddy-O, I'm coming for you. I'm taking down that Forester, that toaster. So hopefully it's only 1 or 2 more build videos on this, and then we can get this car done with. Because like I said, as much as I love the hatch and I'm ready to have the hatch back driving again, I want to work on something else. I need a break from working on the hatch. And I want to drive something else. B, I want to work on something else. And C, I want to go do fun driving videos. I can't do it with the 04 STI right now because I have to tear into that car to figure out what the hell is going on with it. Suspension squeaks like super bad. It sounds like something's rubbing on something as I'm driving. So that one's coming in the garage. We're going to reboot all the axles, new coilovers, give the engine a refresh, and then get it back out on the road. We're not going to be swapping anything major on that car. The hatch right there, baby boy. Their hatchback. So with that, that's all I got in me tonight. Like I said, hopefully maybe 1 or 2 more build videos, and then we're calling it good on the hatchback for a little while. We'll do some cosmetics to it. There are some cosmetics that I want to do to the hatch, just to lighten it up, to make it more cool looking, I guess you could say. But that's all I got for you guys on this one. So like I said, like maybe 1 or 2 more build videos, hopefully on the hatch. So for now. So let me specify for now, because like I said, cosmetic stuff. But with that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue. I still have to make a dump tube for this car. That's easy to weld. I'm not going to stress it. I'll order that stuff tonight. With that, that's all I got for you guys on this one. So if you like the video, you know what to do. Go ahead and hit that like button, turn it black, blue, green, yellow, purple, silver, cyan, whatever color it turns for you. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel and you want to be one of these corners, no idea which one I'll put it in quite yet. But with that, I'll catch you guys in the next one. So peace out, homies. Woo!